We like to start with a countdown, so let's start.
There are 15 ghosts in the forest. There are 14 in the dark. There are 13 round the stone wall. 12 are lurking in the park. There's 11 in the alley. Can you hear them wail and moan? They are upset that you've left them and you're on your way back home. There are 10 ghosts in the pantry. There are 9 upon the stairs. There are 8 ghosts in the attic. There are 7 on the chairs. There are 6 within the kitchen. There are 5 along the hall. There are 4 upon the ceiling. There are 3 upon the wall. There are 2 ghosts on the carpet, doing things that ghosts will do. There is 1 ghost right behind you, who is oh so quiet. Boo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Tales Best Told in the Dark. This evening we will be featuring a wide assortment of spooky stories, funny spooky stories, and really spooky stories. And it's our hope that by the end of our little session here tonight that some of our favorite stories become some of your favorite stories. And now we're going to begin with a very old story. It's called, quite mysteriously by the way, The Red Lips and the Red Fingernails. Now a long time ago, in this cabin deep in the woods, there lived a little girl. Her name was Christine. And every night before Christine went to bed, she would do the same thing every single night without failure. She would go on over to her bed, she would turn down the covers, she would fluff up the pillow. She would look underneath the bed to make sure that there was no one or nothing hiding under the bed. And then she would put on her favorite pajamas, the ones with the feet sewn at the bottom, and the pink unicorns all over them. And then she would take her favorite teddy bear down from the shelf, that old worn teddy bear with the stuffing coming out of his side and the unsewn nose. And she would take that teddy bear on over to the bedroom window, where she would open it up nice and wide to say goodnight to her friend the moon. But on this particular night, when Christine opened up the bedroom window, there, right outside the window, was this strange-looking old woman. She had chalk white, wrinkled-up skin. She had long, tangly, greasy hair that went down to her toes. She had these large yellow eyes, like the owl that flies at midnight. But most frightening about that woman with that woman's red lips and her red fingernails. Christine took one look at that woman outside her window and she screamed. Ah! But she was so frightened she couldn't move. She just stood there staring at that woman. And then that woman said to Christine, she said,
"Oh, do you know what I do with these red nails and these red lips?"
And Christine shouted out, "No!" And then she slammed the window shut. She raced across the room. She ran right underneath her bed, and that's where she slept that night, underneath her bed, with all her smelly, sweaty socks and sneakers. It wasn't very pleasant. Well, the next night came, and Christine once again got ready for bed. She turned down the covers to her bed. She fluffed up the pillow. She put on her favorite pajamas, the ones with the feet sewn at the bottom, and the pink unicorns all over them. And then she took her favorite teddy bear down from the shelf, that old worn teddy bear with the missing button eyeball and one ear falling off, and she took him over to the window to say goodnight to her friend the moon. And when she opened up the window on this night, she was there again. That strange old woman with the chalk white wrinkled up skin, the long, tangly, greasy black hair, the large yellow eyes like the owl that flies at midnight. But most frightening about that woman were that woman's red, red lips and her red, red fingernails. Christine took one look at that woman outside her window, and she screamed. Ah! But again, she couldn't move. She was so frightened. And then that woman said to Christine, she said,
"Oh, do you know what I do with these red, red nails and these red, red lips?"
And Christine shouted out, "No!" And she slammed the windows shut. She raced across the room. She ran right past her bed. She dived into her bedroom closet. She slammed the door behind her, and that's where she slept that night, in her bedroom closet, right on top of her easy bake oven, surrounded by all her Barbie dolls, and one G.I. Joe with Kung Fu grip. It wasn't very comfortable. Well, the next night came, and Christine once again got ready for bed. She turned down the covers to her bed, she fluffed up the pillow, she put on her pajamas, she took her teddy bear down from the shelf, and then she walked out over toward the window to say goodnight to her friend the moon. And when she opened up the window on this night, she was there again. That strange old woman with the chalk white wrinkled up skin, the long, tangly, greasy black hair, the large yellow eyes, and those red, red lips, those red, red fingernails. Christine took one look at that woman outside her window, and she screamed! She lost her voice on this night. And then that woman said to Christine, she said,
"Do you know what I do with these red, red nails and these red, red lips?"
And Christine shouted out,
Is that
"No!" But before she could close the window on this night, that woman came round and came in through the side door, right into Christine's room. She looked at that little girl with her yellow eyes, and she said,
"Do you know what I do with these red, red lips and these red, red nails?"
And Christine said, "No!"
"Oh, pay attention. You're such a nasty, nasty child. I'm going to show. Pay attention. To show you exactly what I do with it. Are you watching?
"I am." And then that woman took one of those long red fingernails, and she brought it close to her red lips, and she went. And that's all there is. Okay, everyone. Our next story, we're going to pretend to take a trip together, a little walk into the dark, dark woods. Can you guys use your imaginations?
Yeah.
You can? Good. Okay. Very good. Now it's very cold out there this evening, so I want you to reach down and pick up your overcoat, and I want you to put it on. Put on your overcoats, everyone. And zip it up, please. Zip. Very good. Now it's very dark out there in the dark, dark woods, so please reach inside your coat pocket and pull out your flashlights. And please turn them on to see if they're working. And not in my eyes, please. Please put them down. Excuse me, 1 second. Let me see yours. Your batteries were dead. Okay, now I want you to all gather together. Stay close. We don't want to lose anyone as we take a journey into the dark, dark wood. In the dark, dark wood, there was a dark, dark path. And on that dark, dark path, there was a dark, dark gate. And through that dark, dark gate, there was a dark, dark bridge. Across that dark, dark bridge, there was a dark, dark house. And in that dark, dark house, there was a dark, dark room. And inside that dark, dark room, there stood a dark, dark cupboard. And inside of that dark, dark cupboard, there was a dark, dark shelf. And on that dark, dark shelf, there was a dark, dark box. And inside of that dark, dark box, there was a ghost! The hairy toe. To toil in her garden and work away, she scratched the ground with her gardening hoe and cried,
Oh, looky, looky, a hairy toe.
She leaned on down and grabbed it tight. She yanked that toe with all her might. That toe then popped out from the ground, and then she paused and turned around. She turned around and headed back to her dilapidated shack. She found a pot. She stirred a brew. And with that toe, she made a stew. That hot toast stew was left to cool, and meanwhile she pulled up a stool. She opened wide and let it flow, that putrid broth with hairy toe. With stomach full, the woman said,
Now I think I'll go to bed.
Snuggled up in blankets deep, the little old woman went to sleep. But while she slumbered, as she snored, something stirred outside her door. It made a growl, then said real low, "Give me back my hairy toe." The woman woke up with a start, as rapid beating filled her heart. She screamed out loudly,
No, no, no! I do not have your hairy toe!
Then came a pause. Then past the door, the voice called louder than before. "Give me back. Give it back and I will go. Give me back my hairy toe." The woman shook more than before. What was that thing behind the door? "Give me back my hairy toe," were the only words it seemed to know. "Give me back my hairy toe! Give it back, and I will go!" Tucked in her bed, she quaked with fear. The woman shouted loud and clear,
I ain't an actress no more! Go away and get my door!
It paused a while, and then it said, "I'll go, but I'll take yours instead!" And now, a warning, though it's too late to change this woman's horrid fate. Should you find one, high or low, never take a hairy toe. Our next tale of terror is called The Viper.
Oh, my goodness. You know, all of my friends this evening went to Magoni's for that early night special. I didn't go with them. You know, now I'm so sorry I didn't go with him. There's nothing on TV. I've seen it all. Even on demand, I've seen it all. And I just wish I had somebody to talk to. But I'm sorry that I didn't go with them. Maybe they came back a little early. That would be nice. Hello? Hello?
I am the Viper. I'm coming to your apartment.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't know any Viper, and I think you have the wrong number, but thank you. Have a good night. Bye. The Viper. I don't know any Viper, but since no one's no, that I know is calling. So I think what I'll do is I'll read some ghost stories and just sit down here and enjoy a few. Maybe that's them now. Maybe that's them. Maybe they got out a little early. Hello?
I am the Viper. I'm on the first floor.
I don't think you heard me the other time. I don't know any Viper, and I don't want you around here. You have the wrong number. Good night. My goodness, my goodness. Sometimes those young people just do not listen, and you tell them they have the wrong. Can't possibly be that. Maybe it's them. They must have won at Keno, so they're calling me up to let me know. Hello?
I am the Viper. I'm on the second floor.
Listen, I told you before, I don't know a Viper. I don't know anybody by that name, and I don't think you know me neither. Bye! Insisting the Viper. What kind of a name is that? I never heard of anybody the Viper. Listen, now I'm starting to get nervous. Now, hello?
I am the Viper. I'm on the third floor.
I told you before, I don't know you. You don't know me. Don't call me again. Goodness, not listening at all. Again, those young people don't listen to them. That must be a new kind of telephone thing that they're doing for those surveys. I think it's him, that whatever that means. Should I answer that phone?
No. Yes. No. No. Yes.
Oh, maybe they're not going to.
Yes.
Maybe if I let him, maybe he won't. He'll just keep ringing. Telephone service with Comcast sinks. Hello?
I am the Viper. I am right outside your door.
No, you're not. Fight! He's outside my door. Oh, what am I going to do? I don't want. Maybe. Won't call me.
I am the Viper. I am coming into your apartment now.
No, you're not. I don't know any Viper. No.
I'm the Viper. I come to wash and wipe the windows. And now, what some people refer to as the granddaddy of all ghost stories. It was also said to be Mark Twain's favorite ghost story. Later in his life, when he toured the country and toured the world, actually, telling stories for his audiences, he would always end his presentations with this particular ghost story. It's classified as a jump tale because at some point in the storytellers try to make their audience jump from their seats. We'll see if we can do that tonight. And this story is called
You did it the first time.
the golden arm. Now, a long time ago, in this cabin deep in the woods, there lived a couple, a man and a wife. And the man, when he would get home from work, he would take a chair on over and place it before the fire. And he would take into his hand his favorite pipe and he'd light it. And he'd watch smoke rings rise up toward the ceiling. Now, the unusual one in this family was the wife. When she got home in the evening, she too would take her favorite chair over by the fire. And then when she sat down, she would take her left arm and hand and she would place it across her chest. And then she would take into her right hand a soft white cloth. And she would proceed to rub that soft white cloth up and down her left arm and hand, for you see, it was made entirely of pure, solid gold. From the end of her elbow to the tip of her fingers, it was solid gold. And every night she would polish and shine that golden arm. Now, on one particular night, while they were there by the fire and she was polishing her golden arm, she suddenly turned to her husband and she asked a most peculiar question. She asked,
Dear husband of mine, in case I should pass before you, promise me that you will bury me with my golden arm.
Why? You're a young woman. Don't talk about such things. I don't want to hear it.
You must promise me. Don't just tell me. You must promise me.
Yes, I promise you I'll bury you with your golden arm.
Make sure that you're going to do it.
I will bury you with your arm. I swear it. Now, don't mention it again. And the two, they grew old together. And as it so happened, the woman was the first to pass away. And on the night that she was buried, down at the village cemetery, all that man could think about back at that house was the promise he had made to his wife years before. And the gold of that golden arm. Why, if he had that gold, he'd be a rich man. All that night he paced back and forth before the fire, talking to himself, saying things like, why, if I had the gold from that golden arm, why, I could buy myself a brand new wagon and 10 white horses. If I had the gold from that golden arm, why, I could buy myself a brand new house. I could live like a king. If I had the gold from the golden arm, why, I could buy the land for miles around. Everyone would look up to me. I'd be the envy of the whole village. And then he decided, right then and there, that he would go to the place where his wife's body lay, and he would take the arm for himself. So, late that night, when it was dark and all were asleep, he left his cabin and he went down the path that led to the village cemetery. He took with him his shovel, and before he entered the cemetery, he looked about to make sure that there was no one there. And after a while, he was certain he was alone, and he went into the cemetery, and he went to his wife's grave, and he took his shovel, and he began to dig down deeper and deeper. The ground was still soft, so it was quite easy for him to get down to the box that held his wife. And he got down in that hole and he brushed away the dirt from the lid of that box. And then he opened up that lid just enough to get his hands inside, because you see, he knew if he saw his wife's face, he would lose all his nerve. And instead he just felt around in that box until he felt the cool, hard smoothness of that golden arm. And then he grabbed onto that arm, and with one yank, he pulled it out of the box. He looked about to see if there was anyone there, but there was no one about. No one saw his deed. And then he closed that box and he filled in that hole, and then with that arm in his possession, he went back up the hill to his house. And when he got into his house, he locked that door and he barred that door and he brought the golden arm before the fire and he held it up and he was oh so proud of himself. Why, I have the gold of the golden arm. Why, I'm a rich man now. I'll be able to buy that fine new wagon with 20 white horses. I'll be able to buy that brand new house. I'll be able to buy the land for miles around. And then that man, he looked out the bedroom, the living room window. He looked out the living room window in the sky that was bright blue with stars twinkling, and it was now black. Oh, it was black. And the wind, where there was no wind before, now blew louder and louder. And just above the sound of the wind, that man thought he heard a voice call out,
"Where is my golden arm?"
No! No one can be there! And the man looked out the window again just to make sure. Oh, it's just my nerves. I'm a little nervous. No one is there. No one saw me take the arm. But again, just to be certain, he looked out the window again. And now, the sky was black. Oh, it was black. And the wind blew louder and louder, and the shutters began to bang against the side of the house, and that old oak tree began to scrape against the side of the house, and just above the sound of the wind, that man heard that voice now. It was unmistakable. It called out,
"Where is my golden arm?"
"No! It's mine! You'll not have it! I don't know who saw me, but no one will have it. It belongs to me!" And then that man, he raced about the house to try to find a place where he could safely hide it. He raced through the living room. He looked under the sofa, but there was no room under there. It was all filled with dirty socks and sneakers. He raced on into the kitchen. He opened up all the cupboards, but they were all filled with pots and pans. But then he remembered. He remembered that in the bedroom there was a closet that locked with a key. So he raced on into the bedroom, and he took the key from the wall and he opened up that lock. And he threw open the door, and just before he stepped inside that closet, he looked out the bedroom window. And now the sky was black. Oh, it was black. And the wind blew louder and louder, and the very house began to shake under the force of the wind. And then that man took that golden arm and he held it close to his chest, and he stepped into the closet and he closed the door. And he locked it behind him from the inside. I'll be safe with the arm in here. No one will have it but me. It's all mine. And then he realized that there too in the closet, it was black. Oh, it was black. And then that man heard the front door of the house burst open wide, and he heard his house filled with the sound of the wind. And then he heard footsteps coming across the floor, coming closer and closer.
"Where is my golden?"
It was a ghost of his wife! She grabbed the arm, turned around, raced across the room. And no one has seen the ghost or the golden arm again. And that's the golden arm, everyone. And now, I'd like to give you a story to take home with you before you go. Okay? It's the shortest story in the world. And it's a true legitimate story. I'm not making it up. It's from Africa. And it's a spooky story depending on how you share it. It's called The Wind. Listen carefully now so you can remember it and take it home with you. Ready? The Wind. The end. Let's have a big hand for Joyce Pinsonnailt. Come on out, Joyce. Our ghost and monster for the evening, Dan Sheehan. And a proud person right behind here, Sandy Guimard. Come on out. And we'd like to wish you all a very happy Halloween. Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. Be safe.
Have a good night.